There we go. Okay, sorry. We don't have any live viewership yet, obviously, because we had to restart. Blame Michael Syria for having a
Sorry,
terrible
guys.
piece of
Yeah.
technology, and me having mercy on his soul for letting him get back and do this. Otherwise, that's just a really bad debut for him on the podcast. So we're going to roll right into our next topic. Our next topic is not necessarily top performer, but unexpected top performer of the week. Kyle.
I got two. I talked about him earlier. Tyler Eifert and then Travis Kelce.
Good call. Yeah.
Is it Kelsey? Is that what it was? I've been saying Kelsey.
I
know
don't
it's Kelsey.
All right. Sirio is. He's on Sirio's team, so maybe.
This is why we're amateurs, people.
It's one of many reasons.
Those guys both had great weeks. Kind of came out of nowhere. Really, not much more to say. I mean, I'm not sure if that'll continue to happen over the rest of the year. I'm sure if Sirio had anything to say about it, Kelsey is going to be unreal for 16 weeks, but they absolutely surprised me.
Sirio.
My guy is Keenan Allen. He's entering his third season. Last season, his sophomore season, he was the 48th best wide receiver. And the year before that, he was the 17th. His rookie season, he was the 17th receiver. He finished the game with 15 receptions for 166 yards and 0 touchdowns. No touchdowns, what can you do about it? But 15 receptions is pretty damn impressive.
Yeah, I'm not complaining. He's on my fantasy team, and I don't need him to get a touchdown if he puts up those kind of numbers every week. That was absurd. Second receiver I took this year. I'm very happy with that one. I know Trevor's happy with that one.
Oh, yeah. But, I mean, we've loved him in San Diego. There was actually a good deal of hype in the San Diego area for him this year, although it doesn't sound like on the national scale at all.
So, Trevor, who is your top unexpected receiver?
I got to go Mariota. I mean, maybe you guys are expecting it, but I don't. I mean, regardless, obviously that doesn't project out necessarily past week one, but just in terms of having a great showing in his debut, that was pretty impressive. I was impressed.
So I actually thought everyone was going to go Mariota, and Kyle kind of stole my thunder a little bit. I was kind of trying to stick it different, and I was going to say the tight ends of the NFL.
It's good.
I haven't seen a stat on it. It's something I would have to do a little more research on, but, you know, I don't always do all the research for the show. But I would wager that there can't have been many weeks in the NFL that tight ends have caught more touchdowns than they did this weekend. Maybe it's week one. A lot of receivers are still getting the chemistry down. There's a lot of movement as far as trades and free agency. But, I mean, tight ends were everywhere, catching passes, catching touchdowns, being major in games. Even for Tampa Bay, who had an awful game, their tight end went off. I mean, he had over – I'm not sure if it was over – I think it was over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. I mean, it's just –
Ray Jenkins was good. You're right.
So, you know, I think that maybe if that's going to be a continuing trend, it's going to be interesting to see how defenses try to adjust. Maybe, you know, maybe different formations, maybe different body type linebackers in there to cover them. I'm really kind of interested to see if that's a continuing trend. I also have to mention briefly because you brought up, is it Travis Kelce or Travis Kelce? Travis, right?
Yeah.
So Kansas City receivers have still not caught a touchdown pass. They did not catch a single touchdown pass last season. And even though Alex Smith threw 3 touchdown passes, they have still not caught a touchdown pass. No Kansas City receivers. That to me is unbelievable.
I'd like to throw one more name in there. Tyrod Taylor for the Bills. He was at home against the Indianapolis Colts. They came out with a win, and he absolutely outshined Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck is going to be in my bottom unexpected, so I'll touch on him later. But Tyrod Taylor, definitely unexpected top performer coming out with a win. Looks great.
So, Syria, thank you for the even better comedy of the night because, wow, you were not on the podcast. Kyle talked pretty heavily about the fact that was the biggest overreaction of the week is that Tyrod Taylor is going to be really good for the Bills. It's not really the same thing because he's just talking about the week, but still, that's just kind of fantastic.
That's really funny.
Yes.
All right.
And I was luckily no one could see it, but I was really cracking up silently when he was saying that was the overreaction, knowing that was Sirio's pick right there. But thanks for the comedy there, buddy. Appreciate it. So yeah, as you just kind of prefaced, we're going to now move into the unexpected worst performance of the week. So Kyle.
And this isn't necessarily his fault because he didn't get the ball, but Lamar Miller was just the Syrio. If you still want to trade for him, let's talk. I don't see them. I don't see him getting the ball very much. I drafted him in my league. I thought he was going to be a pretty solid performer for the Dolphins. He didn't touch it very much. I think he only had like 7 carries, which is like unheard of for an RB1. But just really disappointed. I mean, the Dolphins won thanks to a Jarvis Landry punt return, but he was not very impressive.
Syrio, who looked like shit.
Well, I mentioned it before. Andrew Luck. I mean, I understand that the Bills' defense is really good. Their front 7 are great. Ronald Darby has been looking good in the preseason, and they're a good defense. T.Y. Hilton going down with deep bone bruise definitely didn't help either. But it's Andrew Luck. They're saying he's going to be a future Hall of Famer. He looks terrible. He was unexpected. He was going to be that bad.
Trevor, what do you got?
So I heard you say earlier that you expected this, but that just goes to show you're a better amateur analyst than I am, because I did not. I wasn't expecting Peyton Manning to bomb the way he did. I mean, he was 24 for 40, 175 yards, no touchdowns, 1 interception. That's an ugly line. I don't know how they ended up winning that game, but what's more troubling, I think, is the consensus seems to be that it looks like he's lost some arm strength. And that's not something that you figure out as the season goes on. That only gets worse. It sounded to me like this might be his last year, and it might not be a pretty one at that.
I won't say I expected that. I expected him to not be Peyton Manning this year. I mean, he's old. The age catches up to you. It's not, I got people that tell me I'm crazy for thinking that, but you get older. You can't do it anymore, and I think he's just kind of hitting that point. His body just isn't going to be able to be at that level. He's still skill-wise at the position, amazing, but I think he's going to lose some of the physical ability, and that's just nature taking its course. You can't do much about it. But yeah, it was definitely a little. I mean, there was not a single offensive touchdown scored in that game, so I think that there was a defensive touchdown both ways, I believe, or was it punt return? Maybe I think it was defensive.
There was 2 pick sixes.
2 pick sixes, yeah. Okay, so and a lot of field goals, so that's pretty rough.
Yeah.
I was gonna go Luck, but since Syrio did, I'm gonna switch it up and say Des Bryant. I'm so disappointed in you for breaking your foot, man. What are you thinking doing that? That's terrible. You're killing my fantasy team. You're making me sad, and then you're running through the tunnel congratulating people on a broken foot, making it worse. That is disappointing as hell. Mini rant over. Did we let Kyle's back? I thought we lost him.
I'm back. I was just writing some notes.
Hey, I got
okay.
So just wanted to join you.
Yeah, we're all bums and do this from our beds. We're either bums or we're really creepy, whichever you want to go with. All right. So we've hit the end of our agenda. Is there any? Actually, I wanted to add one because I'm sitting here looking at the television, and third quarter just started. Oh wow, what a time to say that! Pick six. No, Eagles just intercepted, and they got it 1st and goal on the 7. But before that, the Falcons are up 20-3 in this game through a half. The Philadelphia offense is just anemic, and they can't move. It's hard for me to believe Atlanta's defense has improved that much because the personnel has not changed that much. So do y'all think Chip Kelly's offense is maybe not going to be it this year?
I don't think it's going to be the same Brad.
That might go into a week 1 overreaction.
I mean, they haven't scored a touchdown in the game against what last year was a very bad defense.
I haven't been watching much of the game, so I'll preface it with that. But it's only week 1. There's still months to go.
Yeah, I don't have the game on up here. I got the puppy downstairs, so I moved it up to the office upstairs. And when I make really unintelligent statements, I at least like to have knowledge base before. So I'll watch the game before I start saying they're going to be terrible.
Kyle, any thoughts?
No, I mean, I just don't think Sam Bradford's the guy for his offense. Whatever offense it is he's running, it's not Sam Bradford. So.
And I'll say this, as a Rams guy, I mean, I never didn't like Bradford at quarterback. I think he's a very capable and talented quarterback. He just couldn't stay healthy.
Right.
But you throw him in this system, and it's like, no, he's a passer. He moved around a little bit in college, but since his junior year he hadn't been healthy. So you're going to have a guy moving around playing read options that isn't healthy.
That's my thing there. He hadn't been hit in a couple of years. You're almost made him a mobile quarterback in this offense. I think the recipe for disaster.
That's a Murray touchdown.
Yep. DeMarco Murray, first touchdown as an Eagle. Big fantasy implications there. Who's trying to win at the last minute in fantasy week 1 when it doesn't matter? But yeah, Bradford, and he said himself in an interview I was watching before this game, and yeah, he's usually going to hand it off, and he just did there in a read, and he did in the previous play in a read, but he said himself, like, the only way the read option works is if occasionally he pulls it and runs.
Correct.
Otherwise, the linebackers do not respect it. So he's going to take some hits. That's going to be interesting to see if he can stay healthy in that type of offense. Who's their backup? They got rid of several people. Sanchez.
Yes, but then they signed Stephen Morris from Miami as their third guy.
Interesting. So are there any more, anything y'all want to go over? NFL, that's the end of our NFL agenda, really. Anything you've heard, anything you want to talk about?
I haven't really looked at next week's schedule, but we'll save that for next time around.
I still think the Manziel storyline is hilarious. I mean, every time anything pops up on that, I'll still read the articles, and I know I'm the bad guy because I'm contributing that media spin, but I love it. I eat it up. I can't wait to see where Johnny Football goes this year.
He didn't look horrible coming in the game. I mean,
he had a good start, and then it kind of got away from him. But
How about that Hoyer injury, though? Just getting spun full 360,
like a helicopter,
horizontal to the ground. Oh, man. That's rough.
Yeah. McCown got absolutely helicoptered. It was awesome.
Yeah, that was pretty wild. All right, so any other general sports topics? Any other sport? I don't know if y'all watch tennis, but Serena getting majorly upset going for the calendar slam to me was a pretty big story. I was in Tallahassee, saw on Twitter that it was late in the third set and popped it over. Pretty wild upset there.
Oh, yeah, that was wild.
I don't really follow tennis, but I'm interested. Mayweather saying he might be done. I don't buy it. I mean, the guy's first name is money, so he's gonna keep coming back. But I do think we're witnessing the end of one of the great sports of all time. Really, I just don't see boxing being able to compete with mixed martial arts, and I think Mayweather is going to be the last big name to play in it.
Yeah, I mean, boxing's been dying. I was actually shocked they got the viewership they did for the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight when they charged $100. They had that fight 5 years ago. That's like a revival fight for the sport, and it gets people in it back when they're in their prime. And neither of them are in their prime anymore, and it didn't even have that feel of what it should have been. And then as disappointing as it was, I think that was really the last nail in the coffin. I was with somebody, I was in Tallahassee, and people were like, wait, Mayweather fought tonight? What do you mean? I didn't even know that was happening. I think that really shows it when a guy like that, no one even realizes it's happening.
I completely agree. I did not realize that. I knew he was fighting, but it was just they didn't sell a whole lot of tickets. I saw some headlines about that. It's on a downward slope, that's for sure.
I think he's a tough guy to be the face of the sport too, because he's not an exciting fighter, and besides all his personal issues. But he's not. I mean, he's a great fighter if you like boxing, but if you don't like boxing, you're not necessarily going to be excited by him. He's not like a heavyweight. He's not going to be knocking guys out. So I don't know.
I also think with the emergence of UFC,
Right.
that's probably stolen some viewers
definitely
from boxing.
I think there's no question. Yeah.
I mean, I myself am a big UFC fan, but even if you're not a big UFC fan, number one, the safety issue, boxers, pretty much every boxer has horrible brain damage because they allow them to get knocked out, then get back up and keep fighting. That's when the damage occurs. UFC is a much safer sport, so you have that factor. You have, the excitement of, things people aren't used to seeing. It's not just punches getting thrown to the face. You have submissions. I think it offers a lot more.
Yep.
I'm going to give a little bit of a plug to any MMA people still in Tallahassee. They've been doing local fights there for a while, but they've always been at really small venues. But they actually they got a fight. There's a big UFC fighter that kind of got involved down there and is kind of built it up. And they actually in 2 weeks are fighting at the Tuck at the Civic Center in Tallahassee.
Wow.
It's going to be a really big event, actually. I got a buddy, Alex Calianis. He's going to be fighting that night. Anyone listening that's in Tallahassee, tickets are only $20. Go check that out. I think it's going to be really cool for the city if they can keep that up. So, little plug right there for Tallahassee. All right. Any more sports topics about anything other than what we're just going to preview for next week?
Nope, I'm excited to get in this MLB talk, though.
Yeah, next week's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm excited to name drop and then just start and all that stuff.
Yep.
So Trevor, by his admission, is probably going to duck out for the MLB discussion we're going to have next week. I'll probably have him jump on briefly. We'll go over college, we'll go over NFL, any big storylines, anything like that. We'll go over a little bit at the beginning, but we're going to be very MLB heavy next week. We're going to be hitting all the award predictions. We're going to be hitting all the playoff predictions. Storylines that have gone throughout the year. It's going to be a really good one if you're an MLB fan, so definitely check it out. Real quick, Trevor, anything to say before we go over our MLB picks? I know you didn't do any.
No. Just I'll follow up. It's not. I do like MLB. I had a summer job, and unfortunately, like when they pay you, they expect you to work and not watch all the sports all the time.
Being lawyers is really fun, people.
And as a result, I have no idea what the hell is going on in baseball right now. I tanked my fantasy baseball team. I had Trout and Harper as keepers, Sale as a keeper, and I went from first place to now I'm losing in the playoffs, which goes to show you I have no idea what the hell is happening. So, yeah, that's great.
All right, so we're going to run through. This is going to be our teaser. I'm going to let people say what they need to, keep it brief. We're about at an hour, even including the brief stoppage we had. So, quick MVP, Cy Young, and Rookie of the Year predictions. Kyle.
Yeah, I'll go Rookie of the Year first. I like Carlos Correa in the American League, and I like Chris Bryant in the National League. MVP, this isn't going to be a bleeder, but I've got Harper in the NL and Trout in the AL. Donaldson a very close second, and then Cy Young. Lots of options. I feel like in the National League. DeGrom's been really good. I'm going to go ahead and go with Greinke. And then in the AL, that's the only one I really didn't do research on.
Yeah, well, your time's up. You didn't do research.
I'm gonna keep it flowing. The Rookie of the Year, yeah, that's pretty much locked in. Correa, AL, Chris Bryant, NL. Both of those guys have been spectacular. They've been doing everything, home runs, small ball, all of it. MVP, I've got Harper in the NL. AL, I've got Donaldson. I think ever since he came over from Oakland, he's been just a beast. He's on pace for 130, 140 RBIs, which, aside from Miguel Cabrera, is, dating back to the steroid era. He's been just a beast. Cy Young, I've got Dallas Keuchel out of the AL. Came out of nowhere, but he's pitching amazing. And in the NL, I'm going Jake Arrieta. I think that, what he's done with the Cubs and just the push that they're making, not only to make the second wild card spot, but even pressing Pittsburgh and pressing St. Louis for the division. I think that's really impressive, and he's been the guy down the stretch for the Cubs.
All right, so a whole lot of variety on the Rookie of the Year. I have Doobie's picks here because he will be back for the MLB discussion. Correa, Bryant, I'm as well on Correa and Bryant for the Rookies of the Year. I just don't see it going any other way. They've been fantastic. They've been good on both sides of the ball. It's just that's where I was gonna be. That's all there is to say about it, really. For MVP, Kyle, I'm really surprised you went Trout. You know, I mean, I kind of prefaced this on our first one at the end when we were talking about brief stuff about MLB. I think he may get it on name recognition, but I personally, as a big Angels fan, I mean, that's my team, that's my guy. I just don't think he's done it. I think it hurts that the Angels are back out of the playoff race. Only 3 games back. If they get in the playoffs, I think it's much more of a discussion.
Fair enough.
Donaldson right now for me. Harper is most likely going to get it because he's the name, but watch out for Votto. Has killed it in the second half of the season. His slugging percentage, or is it OBP? Oh man, I'm messing up my stats because I didn't write it down like an idiot.
OBP.
Was his OBP that he's like head and shoulders above everybody since the All-Star break, including Harper? It's OBP, right?
Yeah, it has to be.
So you look out for Votto there. I'm going to say if Votto really crushes the last few weeks, Votto is going to get that step up. Second half of the season means a lot to the voters, as it always seems to.
And Harper that his team probably won't make the playoffs.
Yeah, that's another thing. It's all about playoff teams, which we'll talk about the merit of that next week.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cy Young, I'm gonna go Kershaw over Greinke. I think Kershaw. You look at him; he's leading the league in some statistical categories. He's second. It's him and Greinke pretty much 1, 2, or 3 in almost every category. Kershaw doesn't have the wins, which is going to hurt him. I hate that because that's not on him always. Win-loss can really suck for a pitcher when he's pitching one-run games and he's losing. But Kershaw strikeouts especially. He's over 250, I believe, or he's close to it. Very few people have ever done that for the Dodgers. Every single one of them that has is in the Hall of Fame. I think Kershaw, I'm gonna say he kills it in his last few starts and gets that. Trevor, what do you think about all the MLB predictions?
No, I do like what you said about the wins. I think wins are stupid. Quality starts are what you want to look at. I wish more people would do that. I also think OBP is a better statistic than batting average. But notice how I avoided anything that actually has to do about this season. Went to general.
All right. Well, if there's not anything else y'all want to bring up, want to talk about,
I have one plug.
Chris Archer's going to win the AL Cy Young. Go Rays.
Who is? Oh, Archer? I wouldn't hate it, but I don't think he's going to do it.
That's just for a playoff team thing, too, though. If he's team's playoff team.
All right, Syria, what you got going on?
I'm going to leave this as a teaser going into next week. I heard it on the Sunday Night Baseball game when the Mets were playing the Nationals. Since Yoenis Cespedes got traded to the Nationals, he has been an absolute force, and the announcers were kind of making some pokes about Cespedes deserving to be in the conversation. So I did some research on Cespedes came from Detroit and moved over to the Mets, so he went AL to NL. And since the trade deadline, he's played 40 games. In those 40 games, 35 runs scored, 16 homers, 41 RBIs, 4 stolen bases, a 346 OBP, and a 308 batting average. The team as a whole, since Cespedes has been on the Mets, 29-11. They have a clean 5-0 against Washington, and this month in September, the team is 9-3.
Hey, Sirio, when did he get traded?
He got traded July 31st.
When does the season start?
August.
Okay.
But he was in the AL.
Yeah, but when does the season start? In April.
In April.
Season starts in April.
But we're not talking AL MVP.
I'm just...
All right, well, Kyle didn't enjoy that. I think I insulted his love child of Harper. I didn't mean to do that. Sorry, Kyle. But that was just a little teaser.
I'm playing devil's advocate. I hear your argument. I hear the Cespedes argument for sure. But I'm just saying 40 games is – they play 162, so – but he's been unbelievable, and the Mets are very lucky to have him. I would like to see if they're going to make an effort to re-sign him. That should be an interesting offseason thing, too.
Definitely. That's all I got.
I still think Trout should have won it his rookie year when he started the year in AAA. So I'm not hating the Cespedes argument at all. But I think that's going to wrap us up for this week. Eagles are driving on the Falcons. It's 20-10 now. They're trying to make it a 3-point game. Check out the end of it. We have our predictions aren't over for the week. We still all have tonight. And oh, hey, we did have another consensus pick. We're all on the Vikings tonight.
Yeah, I got the
So
Vikings.
let's hope the 49ers don't pull some voodoo magic and take that away from us. Otherwise, don't tell my girlfriend I picked the Eagles. She'll murder me in my sleep. But I think the Eagles come back and win this one still. I will see all of y'all next week. Trevor will be on briefly for the start. Then we'll hit the MLB pretty hard. Anyone watching, we have one current live viewer. Anyone that watched throughout the week, please give me feedback. Please give me feedback. Sirio actually called me, gave me some feedback, talked about it. Some good ideas throw around. I like it to be good for whoever does watch it. So please do give me feedback if you feel like it, what you liked, what you didn't, any ideas you have, or if you want to come on for one. We're gonna do a lot of different sports. We're going heavy on different sports from time to time. If you have a niche market, I don't know if Kyle purposely angled his camera. No, you can't see that. Kyle just purposely angled his camera as Orlando Magic basketball shirt.
Go Magic. That was not what I did, though.
But so yeah, if you want to get involved, any sports you're an authority on, you want to talk with us about, this is for us to have a blast. So if you feel like getting on talking sports, let me know. Otherwise, everybody have a good weekend. I'll see you. Anyone else wants to say goodbye? Help yourself.
All right, y'all. It's been fun. See you all next Monday. Go Knowles.
Later, guys.